Alright, everybody. Today is February 11th, 2018. February 10th, 2018, I had to shut the show down early, basically within a half an hour of the first start of it, due to extremely slow internet speed. Now, it's the next day, and after hours of trying to upload the downloaded video of last night's show so that everybody else can see it, I only had 56% done. After I went to bed last night, it was at 12%. Then I woke up this morning and it was 56%. So I said, hell with that. So now I'm bringing the show to you guys basically so that yeah, just got to transform it so that we got it to there we are. Alright, here's the show, guys, and well, enjoy it. And I'll let you know when it actually starts, Ed. You know this. Start streaming. Okay, yes, it says it can't because my block is blocking you. Allow. And we do it again.
Well, I remember a teacher that I had. Now, I went through the 7th grade. I went to the 7th grade. I left home when I was 10 years old because I was hungry. And I used to, this is true. I work in the summer and I go to school in the winter. But I had this one teacher. He was the principal of the Harrison School in Vincennes, Indiana. To me, this was the greatest teacher, a real sage of my time, anyhow. He had such wisdom. And we were all reciting the Pledge of Allegiance one day. And he walked over, this little old teacher. Mr. Laswell was his name. Mr. Laswell. He says, he says, I've been listening to you boys and girls recite the Pledge of Allegiance all semester. And it seems as though it's becoming monotonous to you. If I may I recite it and try to explain to you the meaning of each word. I, me, an individual, a committee of one, pledge, dedicate all of my worldly goods to give without self-pity, allegiance, my love and my devotion to the flag, our standard, Old Glory, a symbol of freedom. Wherever she waves, there's respect, because your loyalty has given her a dignity that shouts freedom is everybody's job. United. That means that we have all come together. States. Individual communities that have united into 48 great states. 48 individual communities with pride and dignity and purpose. All divided with imaginary boundaries, yet united to a common purpose. And that's love for country. And to the Republic. Republic. A state in which sovereign power is invested in representatives chosen by the people to govern. And government is the people. And it's from the people to the leaders, not from the leaders to the people, for which it stands. One nation, meaning so blessed by God, indivisible, incapable of being divided, with liberty, which is freedom, the right of power to live one's own life without threats, fear, or some sort of retaliation. And justice, the principle or qualities of dealing fairly with others. For all. For all. Which means, boys and girls, it's as much your country as it is mine. And now, boys and girls, let me hear you recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Since I was a small boy, 2 states have been added to our country, and 2 words have been added to the Pledge of Allegiance: under God. Wouldn't it be a pity if someone said that is a prayer and that would be eliminated from schools too?
All right, it's February 10th, 2018. You are listening to Ed Johnston doing the disclaimers. Ed, take it away.
Thank you. I would like to thank everybody for joining with us tonight. We got a special guest too. Southern's going to be joining us here in a bit. The one thing is that with researching and doing proper education, and that's the one thing, doing proper education, and I'm still learning this stuff as I go along, let me tell you. I learn something new every day, and that is the beauty about it, because everybody thinks they can know everything, but we can't know everything. And that is the one thing that once you start putting some of this stuff together and you comprehend this stuff, this is the beauty of the circumstances of what's going on, especially what goes on with our elected and public servants. And that's the one thing that you have to realize, that when you deal with elected and public servants, their basic job is to lie, cheat, and steal. That's their major part. But when you do your instruments together, or you have a question for them, and you put your letter together in a correct format, they usually will answer you in a correct format. And that is the one thing that we've got to do. It's like, everybody, I don't like the UCC commercial code that has been implicated on some of this, and that was passed by Congress. The UCC codes were actually passed on Congress, and we'll have this information up, some of it tomorrow in the week here. I got quite a few things I'll be putting on for UCC. But December 30th, 1963 was H.R. House Resolution Bill 5333, or 5338, the 88th Congress, and this was passed, it doesn't say unanimously, but it was passed by Congress to act the Uniform Commercial Code throughout the 50 states. And that's the one thing that when they're passing this stuff and putting us underneath one commercial code, and everything that they're saying is that basically you have to ask permission is what they were asking on this, but you have to file your instruments correctly so that way you're not in their system. And we can do that, and we can get out of their system, because barter and trade still legally and lawfully exist. They don't want you to know that. And you can type in barter and trade, and there's quite a few good sites that even has laws on it. And we'll be getting those put up here eventually next to the UCC so people can see, the difference of what one law says or administrative rule compared to another administrative rule. And that is the one thing that people have got to realize, that these things are administrative rules when they're doing this stuff. And it's realizing the permission that you are asking, especially when you go to these courts. See, when you go to these courts, they're commercial courts too. So, and that is the one thing that if you do pay fines or basically give a gift, because that's what they eternally claim it, You file, I forgot what form that is. I'll have to pull that up here in a minute. But you want to file an IRS form so they actually claim the taxes. And the IRS has gone after a couple of these courts when they didn't file and actually literally closed the court down for not filing. And that is the one thing that people have to realize, that there are solutions to this through UCC that you can actually utilize for your own personal circumstances. And you really need to do that for your personal gain, because you have to realize that it's you against them. And that is the beauty of it when you start putting this stuff together. And that form is IRS Form 4506. So when you file this form with the IRS, because see, I don't deal with the IRS, period. I don't deal with their system. But when you file this form, it puts it to a point where the IRS has to look if they actually paid their taxes that they're claiming on the entirety of their income they bring in. And they will go after them. And we've seen that. We've seen there's courts that have had literally been shut down for people filed the forms, and the court didn't file their IRS tax forms, or nor their employees, or they didn't do it with their retirement. And they have been shut down. And I'll get some more of those put back up on the Facebook pages, New Oregon Trackers, United States for America, Republic, Elected and Public Servants Oversight, Civil War 1866, Lawful Bloodline Americans, and the Recall Kate Brown governor site that I have on Facebook. And I have a lot of other lawful and legal information on those sites that you can go down and look at it. And I will be putting up the stuff coming up that I'm going to be talking about tomorrow's show on mortgages and on that, because a sheriff actually has to have a warrant, and a sheriff has to come to your door. Deputies and police cannot. And so I got further information on that. And I have sent it out to some people, but I'm trying to get the rest of it so that way we get it up on the wall and those things so people can comprehend what's going on. And that's the one thing, too, is that when you're doing your IRS form in the UCC structure, IRS and taxes technically are voluntary. The Sixth Circuit Court even said that if you file IRS forms and taxes, that violates your Fifth Amendment. And we do have that on record, and we have it up, I believe, on the site, and I've emailed it out to many, many people. And people ask for it, I'll still email it out to you, or put it on your Facebook wall so you have it. And this is the one thing that with the UCC codes that we get into these trouble, because UCC falls under the other one that I like too is the UCC Article 9 with sales. And if you actually read this with personal property or owning your vehicle, or as I call it, a covered wagon, because I don't like using the terminology, some of the terminology, because it keeps you in their system, which I don't like to stay in their system. I try to get out of it as much as I can. But it takes the right applications to do it. And that's what we're all about, working that out for ourselves and others as we do these talk shows, so that way we're educating ourselves and educating the other people as we are learning. And that is the one thing that you have to realize under UCC Article 9. It's called secured transactions. And that is with your property. And don't forget, your child, when it gets born, follows under that with a birth certificate registration when you register your kids with the state. So it's owning your child. You have to file ownership of that child. And that is working across the country. I've had many people that have been doing it. It is working. One gentleman that I personally know in Florida, when his kid was born, what was it, 3 months now, they took his kid right from the hospital because he wouldn't sign a birth certificate. He wouldn't sign any of the information. They took his kid. And 8 hours later, the state attorney general returned his kid personally with a letter stating that they will have nothing to do with their child again. And you can do this. You have to ask these people what the law is. You know, are you required to go by their administrative rules or their copyrights? Because when they pass administrative rule, and I believe that I'm going to leave that open for Southern because he's got knowledge on that, on copyrights of how they do this stuff, so I'll let him bring that in. So this is the whole point of comprehending how these things work compared to what we get instructed or taught or confused on. And that is the one thing that with the UCCs applies to just about everything. And that is the one thing that people don't comprehend, that the UCCs have that much authority in a lot of regards, but you can, you know, if you do the correct research and do the right titles and stay away from registering your titles, because a title is not an owner. A title is basically you're getting permission to be on your vehicle or land or something like that by a title. And so you've got to pay attention to these circumstances when these things are brought into the dynamics of what's going on around you. And I've got quite a few things that we'll be getting on our website, especially dealing with the IRS hoax, because IRS taxes are voluntary. The whole system is voluntary on that, and I've proven that myself when the IRS tried to come after me. And it's knowing how to put the right letter together. And I do have information on that we're going to be putting up some links on it. So that way we could get, you'll be able to download some of these links that we're going to be putting up. With that, I've got files from the IRS that even says it's voluntary. And so we'll be getting those. I think we got some of them up. We'll get more of them up on the new .org tracker site. So this way you can actually see, read it, print it out, have it in your files, so that way you know what the law says, or their law. Because remember, they write a lot of their own administrative rules, and they're administrative rules that technically apply to them. And that is the one point that people have got to realize, that instead of panicking over things that you don't know, educate yourself. And I know that Southern definitely supports that one, because you have to start educating yourself, because if you don't educate yourself, how do you expect to know all these structures? That is the point. And if you want to get into with conspiracy against rights, dealing with tax structures, that's 18 USC 241. We know that one. Most people know that when you get your car impounded or you get kidnapped or held illegally. And also, too, you can always look at wrongful actions of a revenue officer, and that even includes a police officer or police or cop. That's 26 USC 7214. Remember, cops are revenue collectors. That's their technical employment and job. And you have to realize that those cops don't work for you, they work for the system. And then the other point, too, is taking of property without due process of law. That's even when they go after you for property tax, and that is 26 CFR 601.106 FN1. And we'll get that one up tomorrow, dealing with the circumstances of the talk show, because there are people that are going through that, and they need to have that information. And it gets into that where the city and county have to prove that they did due process on your stuff, and that is by law through the UCC codes. And this is the one thing, I'm reading this right off of their sites when I'm bringing this stuff to you, because like I said, they wrote it, we quote it. And that is the point. And then if you want to get into the 13th Amendment, that is 18 USC 1581. So they have this stuff in their own Universal Commercial Code, and they have it in their United States codes. Go ahead. Okay. Anyhow, do we got Southern ready to go?
I'm here. What can I do for you?
All right. Well, go ahead and bring up your point that you were talking to me earlier about with the UCC and dealing with copyrights on it.
Well, basically, all you got to do is pull it up on Legal Information Institute and look at all the copyrights. I mean, it's got about a dozen of them sitting there. Every time that's one thing about the UCC. Every time they change one syllable or a dot, they put a new copyright on that thing. It's the most copyrighted document I've ever seen. And as people know, you can't use a copyrighted document. They're copyrighted stuff. This is part of what's getting us killed out here. We don't know this. Okay, a lot of people don't realize how much of their stuff is copyrighted, and all this copyrighted material does not apply to us. The way things are going right now, anytime you deal with anything, and he was just talking about dealing with children, you need to get into the Uniform Law Commission Acts, okay, because there's where you're going to find what they're doing with the children, okay? They got every act under the sun in there, from child support to how to steal your children from you. All right? And it's all their copyrighted stuff. And this is what we got to start understanding out here is how to rebut this copyrighted stuff. And if necessary, we need to band together out here and go after the copyright holders. Because these copyright holders, the people who wrote this stuff, are ultimately responsible for any damage caused by what they wrote.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and the people who wrote this cannot claim, all right, immunity under the law. They can't do it because they wrote it and it was used to harm you. All right, you need to start getting into those the Uniform State Law Commission Acts, all right, and really seriously looking at them. Because you're going to find some stuff in there you're not going to believe. One of them is the Uniform State Law Commission Controlled Substance Act. That's copyrighted to the lawyers. But anytime you're dealing here with this stuff, you need to start looking up the copyrights. Start finding out who owns the copyrights. Okay? Now, I just found something interesting today I'm going to put out here. I just put it on legal deception. Ed?
Yeah.
All right, it's a list of Florida governors. The state of Florida, you need to get into your state governors, go all the way back to the beginning, and find out if they were originally designed as military governors.
Good point.
Huh?
Go to your site right now and get that up and put it on our sites too.
Yeah, it's on legal deception right now. I just posted it. But yeah, it states right in there who the first military governors were, and that the state was, before it became a state, was controlled by military commissions. So I'm telling you, this whole thing from the very get-go here was military. I hate to say it, but it was. Now, getting back to copyrights, I got to get you a document out there about copyrights. I got to sanitize it first, so it's got some people's names on it that don't want it out there. But you need to start getting into these copyrights, people. You need to read the copyright laws, the Burns Copyright Agreement, and you get a hold of the Crown Copyright. That's what got something that's very interesting, all right, about the copyrights of the United States. That's why nobody uses statutes at large, because they're not copyrighted, so they can't use that stuff. everything that they're doing. I don't know if you got the copyright stuff. I sent you the copyright stuff, right?
That I don't think you did.
I could have sworn I sent it to you. Yes, I know I sent it to you.
Well, I have to go what you said to me in my folder.
I sent it to you in an email, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
Okay? You want to, hold on a second. I'll tell you exactly when I sent it to you. I sent it to you February the 5th, 5 days ago.
Okay.
You need to go in here and get those 4 documents out of there and show the people that they have copyrighted the jury process. Okay? This all has to do with copyrights of the trial by jury and the copyrights and stuff like that. Now, wait a minute. There's one in here, okay? Put the 3 of them out there. Do not put the one out there that's a copyright notice.
Okay.
That's got private information on it.
I got you.
Let me double check. Let me see if I sanitize that. No. Wait a minute. No, you can go ahead and put that out. I did sanitize it. Yeah, but you need to give them all, you need to put all 4 of this stuff out there for these people to read and get an understanding of what a copyright is, all right, how long it runs for, okay, and why they can't use it. You can be but I want you to look up this in the state of Florida. It's called simulating a legal process. Okay? Basically what they're telling you there in that simulating a legal process, if you use their legal process, it's a crime. A lot of people decided to do the grand jury thing. Okay? Well, I was asked to get into the grand jury, and I flatly refused, declined, and tried to explain to the people why. They didn't want to listen. A whole bunch of them got in trouble for it in about 4 or 5 states. But you definitely want to get in to simulating a legal process, both in your state and look it up in Florida, because Florida's got a good one. Hold on a second. Here's what I want right there. Oregon statute, I'll give it to you for Oregon. You ready?
Yep.
All right, simulating a legal process in Oregon is ORS 162.355. Okay? But you definitely need to get into that. And you need to read it, because what they're telling you in there is that if you use their stuff, they don't call it copyright or anything like that. They just call it legal process. But if you're simulating any of their legal processes, and I hate to say that, that includes the UCC, any writs or anything like that. This is why we're having such a hard time out here, people. Nobody's realizing that all this stuff is copyrighted to the Lawyers Guild, all right, or some form of the Lawyers Guild. All right. Florida, if you want to look it up in Florida, it's Florida Statute 843.0855.
Say that again.
843.0855. Criminal actions are under, listen to how they title it, criminal actions under color of law or through the use of legal process. All right, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, A warrant is a copyrighted document. All right, under the doctrine of legal process, the definition. Okay? So you want to get in there and read this and understand what this is saying to you. They're telling you right here, you can't use their stuff. This is why I'm working right now so diligently on putting together some paperwork, basically telling them, if we can't use it, then you can't use it on us. Okay? You can't do this. And I'm going to get it together. I'm working my little heart out. You'll find simulating a whole list of simulating legal process on here. All right? From different places.
Right.
I mean, it's everywhere.
Well, that
These
is...
people,
Go ahead.
These people ain't playing games with you. If you think they are, basically anything you put in that courtroom down there, you're simulating their legal process. Like I told you before, all right, we got a lady down here that I'm working with right now, and we figured out the situation. She has been ordered to use the state rules of civil procedure, ordered by the judge. But the judge has refused to give her permission to use them because they're copyright. That way he can take her paperwork and just throw it in the trash because it's their copyrighted paperwork. You follow me?
Yeah.
You're using their form, they're simulating their form of paperwork, their letter, their type of everything. When you put on the top of that 17th Judicial Court of Broward County, you just handed the paperwork over to them. That's their paperwork now. So they can do whatever they want to with it. You got anything you want to say to that, Ed?
No, I'm on the same page with you on that one. People are comprehending that one. And I just found your post, and I'm putting that up right now, list of governors. I just got that, so I'm putting that up on my Facebook walls and get it out. And so, and like I said, the one thing is that people have got to pay attention to what goes on because they change this stuff too. And you got to be aware when they're changing something, rewriting it, making amendment. They're not going to tell you when they're doing this stuff. That's the saddest part. They sit there and they literally do a lot of this stuff to set you up so that way they can defraud your assets. Because these people, all they want is your money. They don't care about you. They don't love you. They don't care about your children. And then once in a while, you do get some very few honorable ones, but that's far and few between today.
Okay, this is from Oregon. This is from Oregon. I got to read this to you. A person commits a crime of simulating a legal process if, with the intent to harass, injure, or defraud another person, the person knowingly uses or delivers to another person any document in any form and substance falsely simulates civil or criminal process. All right, as used in this section, civil or criminal process means a document or order included but not limited to a summons, lien, complaint, warrant, injunction, writ, notice, all right, pleading, or subpoena that is issued by the court. People, they're telling you right there this stuff is all their process. Okay? I mean, you got to read this stuff. It's they can arrest you for this like they did the people down here in Florida. All right? Mm-hmm. They're just letting us go into these courtrooms and play. These are not our courts. You also need to get into your state constitutions and familiarize yourself with the definition of the court and what the court is. in your state, because I find nothing, absolutely nothing in Florida Constitution that states that a lawyer has to sit on that bench. Okay? That's under the statute law. That's not under the Constitution. So you might want to look that up.
Yeah, no, that's the one thing that, to my knowledge too, that it says that everywhere, that basically a lawyer is not even supposed to be sitting on the bench.
Well, like I said, I can't find it in the state constitution. All right, unless they put it in there in the last few years. Now, because if they were to put that in the Constitution, that would mean all these are military courts.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of them. All right, go look this up in your Constitution. Okay?
Yeah, we'll be having that one up.
Yep. Oops, hold on a second. These people, hold on one second. I want to double check something. I may have told you this, told you wrong. Hold on one second.
Well, while you're looking at, I got a message from somebody on Facebook. They said, "Huh? The call is over?" It's like, yeah, they got cut off or something. Because we're still on air that I know of.
We're recording here, and I'll put the YouTube video on later because for some reason my internet's extremely slow, and it was just lagging like crazy.
I'm mistaken on that. I was reading something else. Yes, the judges have to be members of Florida Bar. Okay? I was mistaken on that. But the bottom line is you need to get in these constitutions in your states, because you're going to find a lot of military stuff in there. These state governments have been lying to us for a long time. All right, these when these states out here were still territories, they were controlled by military commissions, all right, and the governors were appointed by the President of the United States as military governors. All right, that's everywhere. I think that what happened, from what I have been able to ascertain, is at a certain point, instead of them appointing a military governor after we became states, they allowed the people to basically elect their own military governor, which in every state is styled as commander-in-chief of the militia. All right, so they basically have authority, all right, over the people, all right, to enforce the laws of the state.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to look this up, because this is some serious stuff there that's fixing to come down in this country. All right, with that flag coming down July 15th, July 10th. We are hearing, huh?
I said I comprehend you, and I'm getting emails from message from people going, yeah, dealing with the live stream dropped on Oregon Trackers, and that's what I'm getting the stuff from, is people that are not able to watch it live right now, because we got several people on that watch it live because they don't have long distance on their cellular phone.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I don't know what happened.
No, he just said his computer slowed down and dropped, so he's got to reload it later.
Well, let me tell you something. Anytime I I get on calls, my calls, we always have trouble with it, with the system. When I first did the first copyright call and the first money doc call, they kicked that sucker right off, man.
Yeah.
Kicked it right off. Huh?
So yeah, no, they don't like some of the information that goes out.
Oh, hell no, they don't like a lot of the information that goes out. All right, they don't like it at all. See, the catch what a lot of people don't know about the military side of this, okay, is I think the military, all right, you have two governments running. You have the one under in these states under the Senate or your House of Representatives, and you have the one under the governor. The one under the governor, is your courts and your police. And the one under the Senate is everything else.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And because I've contacted our senators in Florida a couple of times about things that were allegedly passed that they never heard of. All right. And if you get in and you do your research on the Uniform State Law Commission, it's the governors that appoint the members of that commission. It's not the legislators. It's the governors. So you got two things running in these states. Okay?
Right.
And that's what I think one of the biggest problems we're having is the fact that we do have these two things running. And it's all about basically about making money.
Yeah.
And keep the people under absolute control. And so being a citizen, a lot of people don't understand this. Being a citizen of the United States has got nothing to do with this. People who want to be a state national, forget it. It doesn't matter. All right, national citizen, it don't matter. You still are under that control. If anybody doesn't believe me, all they got to do is pull up the Florida Constitution on Article 10, Section 2, and read the definition of militia member. It clearly states that all the inhabitants are under the militia and therefore under the control of the government. Same thing with Florida Statute 250-02, I think it is. It states the exact same thing. So we would all be under the militia laws of the state.
Right.
And then the federal militia laws. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Just because you're a national, that doesn't mean anything. The only difference, people, between a national and a citizen is that a national cannot vote in a federal election and can't run for federal office. A citizen can.
Mm-hmm.
And there's your basic difference. All right? So you want to be a national? Fine. That doesn't change the course of the matter, how things are going to happen. It doesn't. You still got to, go by the rules and regulations, or they're going to hurt you. But I do think I'm hearing of changes happening out here right now.
Mm-hmm.
That I am hearing of.
Yeah, slowly.
Well, if this goes back to 1775, like I suspect, all right, this, or even before that, whenever these states out here were all territories under military control. All right? I don't think that military control ever ended. All right? So everybody who thinks they're going into common law courts and military and admiralty maritime courts, no, that doesn't fly on land. Okay? It really doesn't. And I'll tell you something else you need to look up. Look up the difference between booty, okay, and prize. And in Bouvier's dictionary, you're going to be surprised what the difference is. The different booty, B-O-O-T-Y, T-Y.
Oh, yeah.
Booty's on land and prizes on the ocean. And people keep thinking these are maritime courts under prize. They're not. They're military courts under booty. And they don't get that. But yeah, I do think things are going to slowly change here. They don't want to go into a situation where this all gets exposed at one time, and they're going to be held liable for a lot of stuff that happened out here. But I do think it's going to change, especially under Trump. But that's my opinion. I know a lot of people don't like him, but there's a lot of things being exposed right now that you would have never seen before. There's so many people across this country resigning, it's not funny.
Well, yeah, because they don't want to be on the warrant list either.
The what?
The warrant list, because they've been issuing a lot of warrants on people that have committed crimes in the government itself.
Well, I'm hearing the same thing you are on that they are issuing warrants on people. And I've also heard that a lot of people have been arrested already. I don't know how true that is.
Mm-hmm.
So, we can only go by rumor right now until somebody comes out here and tells us the truth. Whether or not they're ever going to do that, I can't answer that question.
Right.
But I do know that under the Constitution, okay, these states, if there's no war, they cannot hold a military army without consent of Congress. And I don't think Congress is going to give them that consent. To keep holding them.
Even Obama tried that one.
What's that?
Turning the state military on the people. Obama tried it, and that didn't even work.
What do you mean, military on the people?
Well, he wanted to have military presence in all the states instead of basically police departments, so people knew the standing of that. He was basically, the military is going to be the new enforcers, and that did not work. He tried that in his third year as president. Congress wouldn't go for it.
Well, he's trying to get, what I understand with Obama, okay, Obama came out here under Jade Helm, and people didn't understand Jade Helm. If you watched what happened under Jade Helm only was really in the southern states, okay? When I say southern states, I'm talking the states that were involved in the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that these states never surrendered. None of them did. Okay? And I think what happened was Obama came out here with Jade Helm, and he basically told them, okay, if you guys want to play this, that's fine. I'll pull you guys all out of office. I'll put somebody in there who will fix the problem. But I know for a fact that there was an issue in the state of Florida, and I heard about it in at least 5 or 6 more states. Back in right after Obama got the second term, I think it was January or February of the second term, Tallahassee, a friend of mine called me up from Tallahassee, and his exact words were, he said, dude, we've been invaded. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, Christ, man, he said, there's military everywhere. And I'm like, what are they doing there? He said, don't ask me. He said, but they got tanks and they got helicopters running all over the place. And this is right here in Tallahassee. I think what he did, he came out and said, it's either time to put up or shut up. No more playing games. And that's why the flag came down, is my belief. Anyhow, they took that rebel flag down, the last one, and they said no more. That's why you can't even buy a rebel flag now. Did the North win? Not really. Everybody won because 150 years of a civil war, enough's enough.
Right.
Living under the Lieber Code for 150 freaking years, and basically, all your police are, I hate to say this, but go into your state constitutions and look who law enforcement is. Have you ever done that?
Oh, yes, I have. And also, too, police departments are not part of the three branches of the judicial system at all. I know. I wrote the essay on it and did the research on it.
No. Who is the governor? He's commander-in-chief of the state militia. Look in your constitution. Who does the governor call out to enforce the law? There's only one person that admits is in there. He calls out the state militia.
Right.
And you can look. And who do you think the cops are? You look at your county sheriffs. I guarantee you, every county sheriff in your county is wearing general stars on his collar. I bet you soda on it. Hello?
Double check that one.
Who's your county? What county are you in?
I'm in Lincoln, and I will be checking that one.
Go check it right now for me.
Should have a picture on the internet. Okay. Let me pull it up. So it looks like that you made your information links private, huh?
Huh?
Well, I'm on your site and I don't see the link to look at your files anymore.
What do you mean you don't see it?
On legal deception, I don't see it used to have a deal where you could click on to look at your files, and it doesn't have it for your files anymore.
Yeah, I see it.
Well, how come I'm not seeing it? I believe I'm on your site, best of my knowledge. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not on my end. Huh. Well, that's interesting. I guess that somebody doesn't want me to read it.
What are you looking for?
Well, I was just going to go down and then pull some more information off, because I was pulling some information off it that I started reading, and I was going to pull off some more so I could start reading too. And so I really don't know. I'm just doing that. Oh, and you got my the deal on the federal structure too, where you can't pay taxes or debt note by federal law with debt note. Because when I was putting stuff up on the other night when you were doing your talk show, everything I was putting up was coming back as spam.
They're kidding me.
No, I'm not. Everything I put up, including the structure with the federal debt note, by law that you cannot pay debt by, and that came back as spam too.
I can't even find a picture of your sheriff.
I'm trying to get on the page to do the research, and it's not letting me on the page now.
They don't like you, Ed.
Apparently not. Find that interesting. Still won't let me on.
What's the your sheriff's name out there? Do you know?
Oh, I don't remember off the top of my head. We got a new one last year because the other one resigned.
Uh-huh.
You had to put somebody else in charge. And I can't remember, and I know the guy. He was a deputy first. And I've never had an issue with him in the county. Even with my own plates on my vehicle, my covered wagon, when I was traveling around, when he always saw me, he always waved. So, boy, now all of a sudden my computer is working on turtle speed.
I told you.
And I don't have that many windows. I only got 30 windows open compared to my normal 100 and something. 100. That's where I'm like, come on, why are you going at turtle speed now? I mean, yesterday I was working on 352 pages, tabs open and going through that, and I didn't have an issue.
They got you all set up. I heard, man.
Oh,
you know what? They give you an email to send stuff to a link. Oh man, I wish I lived in your county.
What is that?
What?
They give you an email to do what?
To send stuff to the sheriff.
Oh yeah, you get an email to the sheriff. You get an email to the courts, to the county commissioners, to legal counsel. Everybody's got their email out there. Come on, how come you, anyhow? This is frustrating. But this is the one thing, folks, that you got to do your research. You really have to do the research and look at this stuff. And most of all, put it together and know how you're putting it together, your information. Knowing how you're writing your circumstances of the issues that you're involved in. And you have to be clear on what you're doing. I got to crash this thing. I just don't know why it's doing what it's doing. But,
I don't know, buddy.
Well, I just crash it because if somebody's trying to do a loop, I crash it, unplug it, reset it. And then, once you do that, hopefully, usually it resets pretty easy, but I'm just sort of stunned that it's just working in the way it's working. But he's got a valid point, too. Look up your sheriffs and look at their, what do they call that? Mission statement. And if you go to your courts and your county sheriff or your city police department or your...
No.
Huh?
What you want to look up on ask these people for is 4 things. Ready? You want their policies and procedure manual.
Oh, yeah,
right.
That's the one, yeah.
Do you want their general orders? Remember one thing, general orders is a military statement. All right? The third thing you want is their, oh, man, I can't think of it right now. I'm getting too old for this. Force Continuum Manual. That describes what force they're allowed to use, when, and where. And the third one and the fourth one is their contract.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me on that contract. You want to get that. All right? Because a lot of these police departments are privately owned, and they're under a contract.
Yep, that's a fact.
Yep, it
Yeah,
sure
but
is.
saying on the mission statements, if you get them certified a mission statement, then that way you have their stuff certified by them that they have to go by. And so that's always useful information to have them certify their stuff. And so when you go into policy manuals, try to ask them to certify that manual. When the general orders, when you go in and get that, ask them to certify that. Because if they certify it, now you've got their evidence certified by them stating that's what they have to do.
Mr. Ed, hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm looking at a picture of your sheriff. He looks like he's got stars on his collar, boy.
I'm getting to that.
You owe me a soda. By the way, do yourself a favor if you don't want your head thumped. Okay? Hey, don't ever ask them what that stars mean.
Well, I'm bold, so.
Yep, I just pulled a picture up of him.
Yeah, it's one thing I'm bold, so I'll ask him.
Huh?
I said I'm bold, I'll ask him. I'm not bashful when it comes to asking questions, and that's the one thing. When I was dealing with ODF&W, the former director of ODF&W, before he left 2007, we sat down and basically I did an interview with him for an hour and a half, and he answered all my questions about the rights of hunting, fishing, subsistence hunting and fishing, the circumstances of hunting and fishing in a state. That's interesting. I got to try the other deal because Yahoo ain't coming up right now. I hate using Google, but I have no choice.
Well, I just sent you a picture, an instant message of your county sheriff.
Okay.
And he does have stars on his collar. I win more sodas that way.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing that we're getting to is you have to do your research. Read this information that's out there. Know, basically, what most people say, know who your enemy is.
Well, yeah.
Your enemy.
I'm going to try to find this one picture here. Believe it or not, this one sheriff, okay, I was talking to a guy doing a call on this same stuff a few years ago, and a guy sent me an image. He said, take a look at this. I want to try to find that image for you. This guy was wearing 5 stars, all right, and anybody who was in the military knows what I'm talking about. Enough battle ribbons, okay, that he had to have been in the military at least 60 years. And this was a county sheriff wearing battle ribbons. All right, the guy's like, man, I never paid attention to this. Never paid attention to it. I said, well, you better start, people, because it's staring you right in the face. Okay, it can't get any more blunt than that, than right there on the guy's collars. But I'm going to tell you something else to do. And you can think I'm absolutely crazy. You ready for this?
Go ahead.
You got a Secretary of State, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a Secretary of Agriculture and Consumer Affairs?
Absolutely.
That license all corporations? Right? You got a commissioner. You got an insurance commissioner?
Yep.
You might want to contact them and see if that business and get the business address of that organization that we're referring to, and find out if they're licensed to operate in that state. Surprise, surprise. No, there's a good point. We ran a lot of them down here, and I got some news for you. You're out of business corporations.
Say that one part again.
Huh?
Say that part again.
They're out of business corporations.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on one second. We put this into a courtroom and started a World War III with this right here. Let me. Can you post something out there on the wall?
Yeah, send it to me, and I'll get it up there as soon as my computer comes back to life.
Okay. I want because I would like you to take a look at this and read it to the people so as they understand it. And we took this right off the website. Okay? So hang on. Are you on the internet yet?
Yeah, I just got back on one page, so
Go to your instant message.
I'm going to it right now as soon as they'll allow me to come up.
I want you to take a look at this and tell the people what you're looking at.
Okay.
And this was not very hard to get.
As soon as they'll allow it to come up, because my computer right now is frozen again. Somebody is just having too much excitement with me today. I mean, I'm just amazed. Everything is just, all of a sudden, everything's working in turtle speed.
Okay. I just sent you a thing called Hollywood Police Doc.
Okay.
You definitely want to open that and look at it.
Okay.
Believe me, the judge in the case didn't want to discuss that in open court at all.
It was, like I said, I'm waiting for my page to come up. It's still, my computer is just going crazy. It's just, now
yeah, it doesn't like me.
You ain't liking me either.
Well, trust me, when I'm around, things go crazy. Okay. I'm going to get out. This was the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. All right, this is a copy-paste doc. All right, Hollywood Police Department, 2350 Hollywood Boulevard, Hollywood, Florida. License type. Listen carefully, people. Weights and measures.
Mm-hmm.
Weights and measures license. License number WM17891. Issued 12/17/10. Expired 12/16/14. Status closed, out of business. You ready for this?
Yep.
Same address, 2350 Hollywood Boulevard. You know what's running there now?
Nope, I'm not in Florida, so I wouldn't know.
The Police Athletic League of Hollywood, Incorporated. Charitable solicitation. Charitable organization, rather. License number CH361. Issued 5/1/92. Expires 11/26/16.
Yeah, and these things do expire, folks.
Yeah, well, think about what I'm saying, though.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the bottom of that page says copyrighted Florida Department of Agriculture Consumer Services. Florida capital, Tallahassee, Florida. Copyrighted. Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that is one thing that is very interesting on copyrights.
Yep. The reason I'm telling you to look this stuff up, all right, your police departments, we had to actually go down, all right, and if you don't find them there, all right, sometimes you can walk into a police department, I don't know if they'll let you do it out there, and look, they have a bulletin board there. They're supposed to have a board, all right? like a bulletin board, all right, where they have their business license, all right, fire alarm license or permits, all right, and their occupancy permits and stuff on a bulletin board. Okay? Whatever you do, don't pull your camera out and start taking pictures. You will get pounded. Believe me, I know. All right? They're serious about that bulletin board. But look up there and take mental pictures of what you're reading.
Well, I like those special glasses with the camera in them.
Yeah, well, good luck. They're wise to that stunt, too. These guys ain't stupid. Yeah, but I'm telling you right now, you might want to go look around and start looking at the business licenses of this stuff. All right? Another thing you might want to do, I'm telling you all little secrets now. Go down to your county clerk's office, and sometimes they're dumb enough to tell you. All right? And ask them about this particular piece of property, who owns it at this address. Sometimes they'll give you information that'll rock your world about these people. I mean, literally rock your world. Because we have a police department here that we were told is a vacant piece of land.
Huh.
You hear what I said?
Yeah, isn't that an interesting one?
Oh, it's even better. Right? It's an agricultural piece of land with cattle on it.
Well, I guess the cops could be called cattle.
These are things that you need to know. Be careful how you use them, because they get kind of mad when you find out the little secrets like this. They get really mad. Okay? Like if you're pulled over by a cop, don't go throwing it in the cop's face that he's an out-of-business corporation. He's liable to jerk you out of the car and shoot you for it. Yeah, but we've had some interesting things down here in Florida that I've learned over the years.
Go ahead.
That I've learned over the years to look up with police officers.
Mm-hmm.
Another nice thing is to contact your Secretary of State and ask him, is these people licensed to do business in this state?
That's a good valid point for people to listen and cue in on.
Well, I got some news for you. The courts in our states, the courthouse in Broward County, is not licensed to do business in this state. It's listed on Dun & Bradstreet as a corporation, but it's not licensed or registered in the state to do business.
Well, I thought that was an illegal structure.
Well, I'll tell you what the Secretary of State told us. Okay? Because we brought a lot of this up to him. And he said, what would you like me to do? Call the police? I said, is there any police actually operating in this state? He said, none.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you think I'm joking you on this, all right, there's a site out there, History of the Florida State Troopers. You might want to go read that site.
Oh, also, too, read the site, too, History of Oregon State Police and Troopers, too. That's a good one as well. Yeah,
well, down here, the state troopers were a military force that fought in the Indian Wars. They fought in the Civil Wars. Okay? They fought in a whole bunch of wars. And now they're driving police cruisers.
Mm-hmm.
And wearing military insignias on their arms. We've been duped, haven't we, Ed?
Oh, a lot of people have.
Yep. Yeah, you start looking these people up, you're gonna have a heart attack. You're gonna sit there and you're going to have such a laugh, it's not funny. I know a lady down here that did every city in Broward County. Looked every one of them up, all right? And she found out that none of them, not a single one of them, all right, was legally operating in the state of Florida. One of the police departments is a charitable solicitation. I think it was Rescue Center for girls or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you would be surprised at what some of these things are. Another one was a sheriff's. This particular building was connected with the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch as a charitable solicitation center for youths. I mean, it's just a joke. And they've been getting away with this stuff forever and ever and ever and ever. And nobody has ever thought about going into this side of this thing except me.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that we were able to do that here in my city, Toledo, because the former police chief was using their nonprofits to personally gain from it, and we busted them. And when we got done with the police chief, Don Dennison, he was stripped of all of his credentials for that.
Folks, they're doing this. They're doing this everywhere. Everywhere. All right, and I mean everywhere. They got people out here believing that these pieces of paper that they force you to sign at a traffic stop is a traffic ticket. That's no traffic ticket, people. It's a securities instrument. You need to look at the definition of security and start realizing exactly what they're doing. They're forcing you to sign a bill so they can cash it in at the Treasury and get paid.
Yep.
Go read McFadden.
Oh, yeah, and the other thing, you can always take that Treasury note to the state Treasury and ask them to pay you for it.
Say what now?
The cops signed you a Treasury note. You could go to the Treasury Department of the state and ask them to be paid.
Yep.
Because he signed you a Treasury instrument that is payable. They don't want you to know that either, because they give you that security note, and it's actually, so long as that people don't get it, that's how they make their bonuses.
Well, that's why I keep telling people, all right, to sign this thing by CODIS, all right, under duress. I think she's asleep.
You want to spell by Dakota? Well, Dakota's for people so they comprehend the spelling of where you're going beside duress. We know what duress means.
Hold on a second. Let me pull it up and I'll send you the whole document. How's that?
Oh, that works. So I'll get that out to people. Because that's the one thing that people don't realize. A lot of these things, when they're signing stuff and handing it to you and expecting you to pay for it, they're handing you basically a check. And they don't want you to know it.
Yeah, you damn right. That's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm. And then when you don't act on it, that's how they put it in their accounts, and that's where they get their bonuses from, is off those checks they get. And I think they're getting 22% now off of that in their paycheck. And don't try to fool you people. They do get paid when they go to court.
Yep, they sure do.
I mean, I get people all the time, well, the cop says he doesn't get paid when he goes to court, and it's like, don't you comprehend? He has to go to court. He gets paid. He's on the clock. They cannot just have him go in and not get paid.
Yep.
That's what just amazes me with people when they go through this and they believe the short angles that some of these men and women tell them, instead of doing the research to actually realize that they are really getting a short end of the resources.
If that cop was not getting paid, he would not be standing there in a uniform with a gun on.
That's right.
He's getting paid. There's a Vicodis doc.
Okay.
Now, you put that out there, and I'll explain it to everybody.
Okay, hang on a minute. I'm waiting for my computer trying to come up now. I finally got where I think I could get it now. Let me see. Okay. All right. About time. Come on, work, work, work. God, it's just taking so long for my computer right now. And my computer is not an old computer. It's only 2 years old.
I wish mine was only 2 years old.
Oh, don't crash the page. I hate it when it mandatorily crashes a page on its own. I'm getting that.
Let me know when you got.
I see his, I finally was able to pull up his photograph. I've got you on that one now.
Yeah, you owe me a soda.
3?
Because he's got stars.
Yeah, 3 stars, military.
See, you guys got to stop paying attention to the bull and start looking at what's really going on right in front of your face. These guys tell you that's how they rank sheriffs. No, the sheriffs is deputies. Okay, there's no sergeants and corporals and colonels and all this stuff. And you, if you want to sock, okay, somewhere in your county or your cities, there's a command structure, okay, of your police department. All right? You want to pull that up and look at it. All right? And I'm serious. All right? But then you meet that sheriff in Broward, there's 7 colonels. I forget 4 or 5 or 6 majors. All right? 8 or 9 captains. That sound like that's civil police to you?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you got the Vicodis pulled up?
Not yet. It's taking its time.
I thought my computer was bad.
Yeah, this was supposed to be a high-speed new one.
Well, at least one good thing about it. You know what that is? They're not attacking me tonight.
Oh, thanks a lot. All right, I gotta wait for this to come up because now all of a sudden anyhow, come on. Okay, let's see if the file will open now. Sure, taking its time. But anyhow, this is part of life. So let me get the other one. So I'm waiting for the Hollywood deal to come up. Oh, cool. That one finally came up. Let me see if I get the Vicodis to come up now.
Did you get the Hollywood doc open?
Oh, no, it's taking its time to open right now, too. Normally, it does my file. That type of stuff will open up within, at the most 10 seconds. But it's having its issue today.
Better you than me.
Well, thank you for your vote of confidence.
Hey, dude, I've sat on too many calls that I couldn't even get my computer to move.
Oh, yeah, I've been there a few times. I have been there a few times.
I'm telling you right now. When you get stopped by a cop, all right, he says sign the ticket. Don't, whatever you do, and if you're listening, don't argue with that man. Okay? Don't argue with him. Remember, all right, this man has a gun, you probably don't, and he will not think twice about hurting you. All right? Don't go there and start getting rowdy with these people out here on the street, because they won't think twice about shooting you or cracking your skull or breaking your ribs or anything else. They won't think twice.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get away from that guy. You want to get away from that guy and settle this matter other ways.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
now,
that
when
is the truth. They don't have compassion.
No, they're heartless. I'm telling you, they got to be. People keep telling me that cops aren't. That they have to be heartless. To do what they do to people, they got to be heartless and soulless.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, Vicodus, signed under duress. How do you do this? You do the V dot, C dot, and your last name. Okay? Now, the reason for that is most cops won't catch it. They tell you to put the little 3 dots after. No. Put V dot, C dot, and your last name. I'd advise you to sit down with a pen, all right, and spend some time learning to write this fluently, like it's your normal signature, V dot, C dot, and last name. Okay? So as he doesn't think that you're pulling anything on him.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Because these cops are smart. They see you taking your time writing something. They're smart. They're smart on this shit. But that's what you want to do. You want to learn to put 3 dot, C dot on there. That way you can send a letter in with a copy. Write up a letter that you were stopped, you were under duress, you were in fear of your life. Use words like the police officer who was threatening and menacing and threatened to do bodily and physical harm to me, and write him a nice little letter and send it in. Every time we've done this so far, the ticket has disappeared because these courts do not want to get involved with that kind of stuff. Remember, these courts know these are securities instruments, all right, and they know that they're signed under duress. That's uttering a false security, and that is serious, serious shit.
Yeah.
All right. The Treasury Department takes that stuff real serious. So does a little group of people called the Securities Exchange Commission. And they don't play. I've actually been known to send the Security Exchange Commission notices on this stuff.
Yeah, you can do that primarily on all your state instruments.
Yes. Yep. Uh-huh.
You know, V dot, C dot, and your last name. I can see that.
Yep. It's not that hard. And you gotta, we gotta define, and see, this is the problem. People out here are going into court and they're challenging the jurisdiction of the judge and all this other happy stuff. And people, come on. It didn't work back in the 90s. It didn't work in the 80s. It didn't work in the 2000s. What the hell makes you think it's going to work today?
Mm-hmm. And so you understand the meaning of V dot, C dot, and means under constraint.
Yes, under duress.
Right, but under constraint too. So that way they realize that basically you're held captive.
That's right. Did you get the document open?
Yeah, finally. So I'll get it here in just a second. I gotta shut the back door because the dog went out and it's only 35 degrees out, so the cold air is starting to come in. The one thing is I have a thermometer on my window, so I get to know what the weather is outside too.
Let me explain something. When dealing with these people, all right, the time to learn to deal with them is not after you're already involved. The time to learn to deal with them is before you get involved.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because after you're involved, it's too late. It really is. Once you're in front of that judge, it's too late.
Well, yeah, to a degree, but there are different ways to challenge that too.
Well, let me tell you something about challenging the jurisdiction of a judge. Okay? That judge and them flags got jurisdiction if you're that militia.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. All right? Magic word that should appear on everybody's paperwork is civilian. Everybody's paperwork should have that on there.
Mm-hmm.
All right? That's simple. All right? If you're not declaring yourself a civilian, you're already in trouble.
That makes sense. And the one thing I like this one too, under Canon 2346, basically when you do sign that traffic ticket, it makes you the trustee and benefactor of the financial income of that instrument. That's why I'm saying you take it to the Treasury. The minute you take it to the Treasury, oh well, that's another way to have it dismissed, and I know people who've actually done that one. And the cops don't like it because they get written up for it.
Well, they're trying to hide a lot of this stuff from the police officers. Okay? They don't want the cops figuring out a lot of what is really going on. Because once cops figure out that they're uttering false securities, and that's a major felony, I don't think they're going to want to start writing as many traffic tickets. And they're going to lose a lot of income. Because there's bonds attached to that, and warrants attached to that. Okay? And in some instances, victim restitution attached to that. Okay? And it's just a money-making machine.
Mm-hmm.
Flat out. It's just a money-making machine.
Yeah, that's true. It keeps the cash flow going through, and when you pay things with a debt note, that makes the debt go up.
Well, let me say something to that. All right. We are. Do you understand how a monetary system ran on debt operates?
Okay.
Okay. I don't. Oh heck! Let me find that right here. Hold on 1 second. I want you to. Hold on. I gotta open a file. I gotta find it. So hold on here. And this is only a 27-page file. Uniform Commercial Code. Sure. Constitution. Let me find it here. I'm going to show you all something. All right? People don't know this. Something Application United States defined, Board of Governors, etc. Okay, let's start right here. Okay? This is Board of Governors Federal Reserve System. Okay? They state on their website, Federal Reserve notes are not redeemable in gold, silver, or any other commodity. Okay? What does that mean to us? Okay? It means that if you can't pay for a commodity, exchange for Federal Reserve notes for any commodity, you need to look up the definition of the word commodity. Okay?
Water, gas.
Yeah, bullshit. You got it. All right? Hold on. You got it. I went down years ago, all right, and I searched the Board of Governors websites and found a whole lot of really nice stuff. Let me see here.
The other thing people need to read and look up Emma. You'll be amazed when you read that about the police departments.
I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, Emma, the circumstances of the police departments itself and the cities, and it runs by the cities, dealing with traffic tickets, administrative codes, their charters. So it is very, very good to read Emma. And I don't know if we have that up on the website yet or not, but I will work to get that up. And you can actually, John Oliver, who's a comedian from United Kingdom, he actually did a really good 20-minute deal on his HBO special on Emma itself. And I posted that up right when it came out a while back ago all over my sites and stuff. Because John Oliver on his talk show nailed it really well. And that is the one thing when you see this stuff, is to do the research. It's your responsibility. Well, that's interesting. I love it when my computer does different things.
Okay, here we go. This is the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. Okay? The Congress has specified that Federal Reserve banks must hold collateral equal in value to the Federal Reserve notes that the Federal Reserve Bank puts into circulation. This collateral is chiefly held in the form of U.S. Treasury, federal agency, and government-sponsored enterprise securities. Now, what does that mean? Okay? Anybody ever read McFadden?
Anybody read what?
McFadden.
I skimmed it, but I didn't really read it.
Okay. What is going on here is you sign a promissory note. In order to pay the house, the promissory note as collateral, all right, or the check, or anything else that you sign is put into the Federal Reserve Bank. All right, they issue an equal amount, all right, of Federal Reserve notes into circulation. Okay? They have to hold that collateral. This is why if you pay off a car, a house, or anything else, guess what, people? You never get back the promissory note, the mortgage, or anything else.
That's true. That is true.
Anybody ever wonder why we still use paper receipts? That's why.
Mm-hmm.
They're all cashed into the Treasury.
Yep.
Everything, and the Federal Reserve Bank. Okay? Everything we do.
That is true. Everything gets done in that fashion. And people have got to pay attention to that one right off the bat.
Well, I know somebody who got into it down here in Florida with a judge and a mortgage foreclosure over that, and they went to war. As a matter of fact, they're still warring. All right, because we put so much in that mortgage foreclosure that it wasn't even funny. All right? And we basically told the judge off. You know what's going on. You know the promissory note was scanned. It went into mirrors. It was cashed into the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve notes were issued for payment. Okay? And you know, as well as everybody else knows, that in order to pay off that debt, you have to send the money back to the Federal Reserve. That means the money has to be taken out of circulation. All right, let's put it like this. You guys give me $1 trillion worth of mortgage, promissory notes on houses, right? Mm-hmm. Why can't you pay that $1 trillion off? Let's say you pay off half of that money. $500 billion. Now you only got $500 billion in circulation. You follow me?
Yeah, I follow you on that one. That one I'm on the same thought.
Yeah, and this is what people don't understand. This is a debt society. Debt is not a bad thing. The more debt you have, all right, the more money you have in circulation. Everybody thinks that this debt thing is bad, but it's really not the way it works out. All right, the only bad thing is you can never pay off the debt. All right, that's why you got, they had a report here a while back on the 4 big banks a couple of years ago, a year and a half ago, something like that, how much actual depository money was in there. And one of them was like $21 billion or something like that. Now, you think $21 billion is a lot of money, right? But let me tell you something. That bank claimed over $850 billion in assets.
Right.
So they're still holding all the promissory notes from all the property and everything, and the cars and everything else. You got a light bill, right?
Well, yeah, actually it's a light statement.
Huh?
My light bill from the company says statement on it.
Yeah, well, it also has a coupon on it.
That's correct.
Have you ever read 18 USC 8?
Yes, I have.
What does it say?
I don't have all that totally, but I know some of it.
Obligations and other securities of the United States.
Right.
All right. You know what one of the things on there is? Coupons.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're paying your electric bill with a check. You're signing the little coupon down at the bottom. And guess what they're doing with the coupon?
They're turning that into the state IRS so they get paid, double paid.
No, they're actually turning them to the bank. Right, direct to the bank. Double dipping.
God, that one I do know, that one. And I am working with, I got to get back to Oregon State Utility Commission because I'm working with them. So that way we can start signing that and serving it to the bank instead of paying the bill like we're supposed to.
Yep. They're not going to. There's so many people double dipping on this stuff, on credit cards and checks and everything your little heart signs and put your signature on. All right, these guys are all double dipping on. Mm-hmm. And they've been doing this stuff forever, all the way back to the early 1900s when they started the Federal Reserve Bank.
Well, and the other one that does a great job on that is, what the heck is that? It's owned by the churches. Goodwill. And Goodwill asks you to sign the receipt and give them the receipt back. And if you do that, they send that to the bank and they get triple paid.
Well, there's a lot of them out here doing this.
Mm-hmm. Salvation Army is the other big one that is really good at doing that. Because anytime you sign anything with Salvation Army, they actually send it to the bank, and they get paid on everything that is signed.
Yep. Yep, I hear you.
And that's where people are not paying attention to what's going on.
Oh, no, they're not.
And it's so simple once you start putting some of these pieces together of how to deal with it.
Well, somebody today on legal deception mentioned a case law that I forgot about. I think I found it in my files, but it goes way back yonder. Hold on 1 second here. Let me see here. Yeah, it's out there on legal deception. Hold on a second. My computer's a little slow tonight too. Yeah, all these people put out some of this stuff, and
I just looked at the clock. We should open up the floor for comments. It's 6:45 here. It's got to be 11:45 there.
something like that.
Yeah, so any thoughts or interest right now?
To enter into the Q&A, hit *6, and I will get you going. Or *61, sorry. There you are, Southern. You're unmuted.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm trying to find this thing here. Okay. Yes, I went back in and pulled this up. I'm going to give you the name of what to look up. Okay.
Okay.
It's on legal deception. STANEK. That's STANEK versus White. 1215 Northwest 784. Minnesota, 1927. That little page case law right there tells you what is a discharge of a debt compared to a payment. Remember, in HJR 192, you're to discharge it dollar for dollar, not pay it, discharge it. And they're telling you right here the difference between discharge of a debt and payment of a debt. When you discharge the debt, you discharge the obligation. The original debt is not paid.
Right. It's discharged. That's right.
Mm-hmm. The obligation, not the debt.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we can't pay off these debts. They won't let us. Flat out.
Well, and the banks would go bankrupt, too, if they did that because they don't have no resources to loan, rape, rob, and pillage.
Well, if you understand what they're doing, okay, it makes sense. They have to have collateral. For every dollar, every Federal Reserve note they put into circulation, they got to have collateral in their Federal Reserve Bank.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And whenever what happened here is when we start paying off our houses and stuff like this, the money in circulation, all right, stops flowing. So they have to come out here and redo everything and get some more debt notes in there and get some more money out. But
well, one thing that
what's happening with the banks,
right,
is that the fraud is they're generating two documents that are the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
A mortgage and a promissory note are virtually the same document. What is the name of those government agencies that deals with house loans?
Fannie Mae and
yeah, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac,
right,
and all that.
yeah.
Go into their website, and we did this. Okay, almost got a shot, and pull up promissory notes and pull up mortgage notes. Okay, and read them both. They're virtually identical. All right, they say virtually the same thing. All right, right off the bat, what do they say? For value given. What value did you give us? You gave us a bunch of phony money. But because it's made legal tender by an act of Congress, it is lawful money. A lot of people don't want to hear that, but it's true. It was made legal tender by an act of Congress. All right, now, the catch is, there is nothing in the law that says that you have to use Federal Reserve notes. But where they're getting us, you got a bill handy, Ed? A light bill?
I'll go grab my garbage bill.
See if after the numbers on there, if it says USD.
Hang on a minute.
Because it's on all the mortgage and promissory notes, it tells you to pay in USD. We don't have U.S. dollars. Federal Reserve notes are not U.S. dollars. And that's what they're getting people. This is not a U.S. dollar. Under HJR 192, you can pay in anything.
Southern?
Hello?
Yeah, Southern.
Yes.
Okay. Couple of questions. Don't mean to change subject, but on that instrument, when the officer pulls you over and you get that ticket, what exactly is the difference between writing B.C. in your last name versus writing UCC 1-308?
No. Let's stop right there. UCC means absolutely nothing to these people. Absolutely nothing. If you think it does, use it. It has never worked for anybody that's ever done it. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Why does it not work? Do you own the copyrights to that?
No.
Thank you. Nothing more needs to be said.
Okay. And
see, if you know, you can write it on there, and the judge or whoever's going to look down at it, and inside he's going to start laughing and going, "Oh well, I know this guy is a dumb fool," because it clearly states right on the Legal Information Institute, when you pull up your UCC, all right, it's got a list of about 15, 20 copyrights there. So he knows right off the bat you don't know what you're doing. And that's where a lot of people are going wrong.
so it doesn't mean that you reserve all your rights.
No. Hold on 1 second. Okay, here you go. Ready? I just pulled it up. Uniform Commercial Code. All right. Copyrighted. Copyright. 1978, 1987, 1988, 1990, 1991, 1992, 1994, 1995, 1998, 2001, 2004, 2010, 2011, 2012 by the American Law Institute. They own it. So how can you use it?
Well, then,
Huh?
Okay, then let's move forward. Now you're in court, and the lawyer or the judge try using some of that's copyrighted. What would you say when you objected to it then?
Exactly that. I objected to this. Listen, this is what I'm working on right now. We're locked in a legal battle with a judge down here in Florida over the copyrights of the Florida Rules of Civil Procedure. And we have put him on notice that we are not committing copyright infringement or plagiarism. See, the question you people got to ask is, does this apply to you? This is why you got to look this stuff up. Are they using a Florida statute? If you go to Florida statute, right, and you look down at the very bottom of the page, all right? Hold on one second. Hold on one second. I just want to pull up anyone here. Hold on one second. Okay. I'm going to give you an example.
Okay.
All right, Florida statute. Criminal actions under color of law and through use of simulated legal process. Okay? Florida statute 843.0855. Go all the way down to the bottom of that page, and what does it say? Copyrighted 1995 through 2015. The Florida legislator. Privacy statement, contact us. What does that tell you?
It was copyrighted.
And guess what? Does that apply to you?
No.
Okay. Here's the deal. If it is copyrighted by the Florida legislator, they either own it or you own it. The reason they own it is they wrote it. Now, if they're under the work for hire doctrine, all right, under the Copyright Acts, them being your employee, okay, you actually own it, which means the other side can't, the judges can't use it. This is what I'm working on right now, all right, is who owns this. And I have contacted these people. I want to know who owns this. Because if the people own this under the work for hire doctrine, then these cops and nobody else can use it without our permission. Okay?
Yes.
Now, if they own it, all right, again, they can't use it on us. What state are you in?
Texas.
Have you ever gone to court in Texas?
I'm dealing with right now with, or not right now, but I'm planning to go back and deal with child support and having a false police report filed against me for domestic violence. So I've got a couple of things I got to do.
Okay. Now, first off the bat, you want to go into the Uniform State Law Commission Acts and look up the Family Support Act and Child Support Laws. I'm not going to use the word laws, acts. These are copyrighted legal procedures. These are not law. They were written by lawyers, therefore they can never be law because they're copyrighted to the lawyers. You follow me?
Yes.
Okay. This is what we need to start working on here, because your child support acts, I don't give a damn, they were passed by Congress. All right? Prove that it applies to me. It was copyrighted. Congress can't think about what I just said. Congress may have passed it. Did they? Title 42 was never passed in a positive law.
That's true.
Title 42, all right, is under the military.
Mm-hmm. Anyhow,
Social Security originally was military insurance after the Civil War. So, this is when I'm working on the copyright side of this. This copyright would cover everything. Prove this law applies to me. Can you do this? All right. I don't think they can. We're going to find out. Because, like I said, I got somebody dealing with this right now, and they're locked into, like I said, a bitter court battle. I'm working on a document to put into this court right now, all right, about the copyright, all right, and the legal process and simulating a legal process. All right, if I can't simulate a legal process, all right, then I'm not subject to any of this stuff. And this, unfortunately, is their shit, not mine. You follow me?
Yes, which then would put us right back to the Constitution supersedes everything.
Well, let me explain something there. Yeah, the Constitution would supersede everything, but we don't want to go there on the Constitution. You're not a party to the Constitution. Constitution only applies to government employees. It does not apply to you.
Shut up.
The reason is the people created the Constitution, which created the government. So the Constitution doesn't apply to you.
so anyhow, hang on a second there a minute. Blanks! There's a guy that's been trying to get in. Let him in. I just messaged you the circumstances. Let him in.
I'm looking. There's nobody.
541-786.
Hold on, hon.
Don't say the number. We can hear it over the air.
Yeah,
No.
can you hear me? Ed?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, can everybody hear me?
Oh, now you're on. Yes, gotcha. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay. I would like to know from this gentleman when they started copywriting the public laws of the Congress.
No. Congress, the statutes and laws of Congress are not copyrighted.
Finish.
Okay, I'll stop now. Public Law 88-243, Laws of the 88th Congress, First Session, December the 30th, District of Columbia, the Uniform Commercial Code. I've used these laws that are not copyrighted, the laws of the Congress, Public Laws 88, 243, 244, successfully many times. I don't use their frickin' copyrighted UCCs that they change when they put them in a book. You want to go to what Congress passed. They are not copyrighted. They edit, the Bar Association edits, and then they do a copyright. So if you use the Bar Association laws, they can come after you for simulating a legal process. I beat the simulating legal process several times in Oregon. No big frickin' deal. You use the public laws.
There's only one problem with that.
What?
You can't use the United States congressional statutes at large in their courts.
Well, I've sure done it a lot of times without any objection.
Yeah, well, they're not going to object to it, but they're not going to recognize it.
Well, it sure does work. I've sure had cases dismissed.
Well, some of them will allow it, but all you have to do is look at Rod Class.
Hey, give me a break. I'm the only guy in the United States that had a U.S. Marshal come into the courtroom to arrest the most powerful judge in the state of Oregon one time. Gee, I've had very good success with some of these public laws.
Well, some of them you will, but you got to get the problem with public laws is I've tried to use. In Oregon, you might get away with it. Now, Florida, you bring them in the Florida court, they're going to the garbage can. And I'm not kidding you. Florida, you can forget it. Rod Class, all right, Rod Class had a stack. And I know Rod, and I got all his paperwork right out of the statutes at large, the 1968 Firearms Protection Act and everything else. What people don't understand is you're dealing with different jurisdictions here. Okay?
Well, we might be on different jurisdictions, but
okay, I call them jurisdiction, but let's be blunt. You're dealing with different corporations. The Corporation of Congress, okay, writes statutes at large to run the government, okay? The state writes session laws to run the state, okay, governments, and on down the line. The problem is what you have out there right now running, all right, and I don't know if it's incorporated in all states yet, is what is called an independent judiciary. They want to make the law, interpret the law, and enforce the law. And this is where it's getting dangerous out here. All right? You might want to look up the term independent judiciary.
I think you need to look at the term of public law. Laws
I know what public law is.
Anyhow, the one thing I would like to add to this with Rod Class, after they took the ankle bracelet off him in Washington, D.C. for going into the Washington, D.C. with a sidearm. After they took the bracelet off of him, now sidearms are legal in Washington, D.C. He proved and won the case, but they didn't want him to win by their system, but they put it in their system. Now arms are legal in Washington, D.C.
Well, Rod, the guns were in his truck. He didn't have them on him. They were in a locked case in the truck.
Yeah, I know, too. I mean, his partner was my co-partner on my talk show until he had his stroke.
But I tried telling Rod, whenever they gave Rod that judge sent him out for a psych evaluation, and when they brought him back in, the judge was real nice to him and handed him the federal rules of evidence. And I tried telling Rod that he just handed him a copyrighted book, and he couldn't use it because it was copyrighted to them.
Yep.
And this is where the problem is. They only use their copyrighted stuff in these courts.
Okay.
I've been there many times. I don't use their frickin' copyrighted books. In Oregon, it's called ORSs. The legislature passes it, the Bar Association edits it, and then they copyright it. So it becomes copyrighted law. If you use their copyrighted books, you're simulating a legal process. But you don't have to. The legislature does not copyright their laws.
Well, the Florida legislator does.
Right off the bat, they're copyrighted?
Well, Congress doesn't.
I haven't seen it with Congress.
That's right.
That's
Congress supersedes.
Just a minute now, just a minute. The copyright laws on the UCC that you mentioned did not start in 1963. That's when everything began. Congress passed all these public laws, lots of them. Then they edited them, and then they copyrighted them for the Bar Association years later. The public law I'm talking about, if you pull it up on your computer, Public Law 88-243, Laws of 88th Congress, First Session, December the 30th, District of Columbia, Uniform Commercial Code. Public Law 88-243, 77 Statutes, 630. House Resolution, I can't read it on this one. I got a plastic folder over it. Anyway, it's got the House Resolution on it. 5338, I think it is. Were you able to pull it up?
Let me get a screen. What was I pulling up?
Public Law 88-243, Laws of the 88th Congress, the first session, December the 30th. Remember, it's 1963.
I think I actually have that in my...
Right, I give it to you before.
Yeah, no, I know that, but I should have that. Well, I thought I had it already in my saved file that I should have pulled up. Let me get it.
It's not copyrighted.
Oh, come on, YouTube. I'm in Yahoo. Now, all of a sudden, I can't get into damn things. Anyhow. Go ahead while I'm trying to figure out my... Now my computer is not allowing me to open up anything.
Well, I'm just trying to explain this copyright thing a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead, explain it, please.
The Bar Association takes laws like this one here of the 88th Congress, the public law, and they edit it, add to, take away, change it slightly, and they copyright it. And now you can't use what they copyrighted. That's copyright infringement. And that's what they do with the ORSs. They do that in every state that I know of. The British Accredited Registry copyrights the laws. You got to jump over that and see what was passed, because what they passed is not copyrighted.
Right. That's true. And that was, again, 88-243?
Right. Public Law 88-243. Laws of the 88th Congress, First Session.
Okay. Yeah, I've got it up now. And it states, too, law of obligation.
Well, I don't know what you got, law of obligation. That's not what I have.
Okay, well, that's what Scribe is saying it is. Of course, sometimes I don't go by scribe either, what it says, because scribe is one of those things that they change things. How come? I'm going to have to pull it up. I think
mine's exact as per what Congress passed in 1963.
Yeah, I got you on that one. Well, that is interesting as heck because it is not pulling 243 up on the internet at all.
That's why I go and get the hard copies.
Oh no, I comprehend that, and I know I have that.
Because the system wants everyone to use copyrighted laws.
Yeah, no, that's the whole thing. They want you to do that to put you in the liability. And these people know this stuff.
So, in a way, you need to go back to the beginning. Start from the beginning on all of this. If you want your constitutional rights, you got to go back to the Constitution from the beginning.
Yeah, no, that is the one thing. Or you go back to the original state contract and the state constitution.
Well, we had the Oregon laws before we ever had ORSs.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm referring to. Every state had that before they put ORSs in place. And once they started putting administrative rules in, and they're administrative rules, that's where people have
and they're for administrative law judges, and they make it clear.
Yeah.
It's all for their administrative courts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and actually I'm trying to think, because I know I had that saved on a photo in my
anyway,
file, but yeah. No, I definitely, that one I do know on that one, and I'm trying to find my photo of it, because I actually have a photo of it with it actually stating it clear of that. And that's interesting. I can't find the photo right now.
Yeah, well, anyway, you don't have to use their edited copyrighted laws. You want to see what the Congress passed. You want to see what the legislature passed. But when it comes to the Uniform Commercial Code, they passed a lot of laws. You don't get in trouble using them if you use what Congress passed. But if you use the copyright, yeah, they could come after you for simulating a legal process.
Mm-hmm. Now, on the other point, people are not aware of Public Law 10585 allows testing for biological warfare on citizen population.
Yep.
And they get away with this stuff, but people don't sit there and really...
Well, when you study the UCC out, you'll find out that the unborn children are from women or cattle animals, and they can monetize them. They're a debt instrument.
Yeah, that is Title 7, 136, Section D.
Yeah, there you go.
For all animals.
Yep. The cattle.
And then that's why when people go in jail and they get abused, I suggest to them, hey, animal abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have the right to use their information on animal abuse.
But at any rate, that's all I had to say for the time being.
Okay.
Getting around this copyright and getting it correct. Got to go to the Congress when they passed it. It is not copyrighted.
Mm-hmm.
And you can use it.
Yeah, no, that's a fact, because I know I've used it myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one thing that there are a whole bunch of variety of ways of using things, and it's how it works for what it works.
This is true. Same way with the Constitution.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know apparently my bloodline goes right back to it.
And I've won a shitload of tickets using the UCC for other people and myself with no problem. Traffic citations, wham, bang, bang. You got to do it right.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you on that one. That is a fact. And it is doing it right. That's the point that people have to comprehend, that things have to be done correctly when you go into court, and that's where we all agree on that one.
No, the first thing you do is when you get the ticket, just go ahead and take it, then turn around and put your cover letter on it and do non-acceptance per the UCC and get someone to be a process server and go and serve that trooper or policeman or sheriff deputy right back on the spot right away.
Mm-hmm.
I've done some of them with somebody within an hour or two. Non-agreement, non-consent.
Mm-hmm. And you can do that one.
I'm just saying, won a lot of tickets with it. Showed a lot of people how to win tickets doing that. But you got to process, serve it back. I did one of them in the mail at work, but we sure had to play a game on the mail. The prosecuting attorney didn't want to give up easy. It was interstate. But he finally threw the towel in.
No, that's true. They don't like it when you come up with the solutions to these issues.
Well, this lady didn't have a driver's license, and she had a little boy with her, and the cop says, "I ought to just haul you in, and but if you didn't have that boy with you, you didn't have that child with you, I'd take you to jail." But he says, "I'm just going to write you a ticket." She gave me the ticket right away, and I says, "Well, it's got to be returned immediately." We returned it, and they tried to get her to go to court again, put another letter in regarding the UCC, and that was the end of it.
Yeah, I comprehend that one.
They dismissed it, said she didn't have to go to court.
Well, even ORS 4460333 says you don't need a driver's license.
Well, what is a ticket? Is a ticket a traffic citation? Is it an agreement? Sometimes you've got to sign it. In Oregon, you don't have to sign them. They just give you the presentment. But is it an agreement?
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's a contract. It's agreement. Guess what covers, in this day and age, since 1963, covers all kinds of agreements. And says right in there, in the UCC, it covers the Department of Transportation.
Right.
Well, okay, so the UCC is a law regarding the Department of Transportation. And if it's non-agreement, then it's non-agreement. Are you forcing me into a contract against my will without my consent?
Well, and the other point, too, Oregon ORS 803.05 says you do not have to have registration for your vehicle.
Yeah, but she wasn't given a ticket for that. Her ticket was in that case, was for speeding and then no driver's license.
Yeah, but like I said...
right, I know there's thousands of ways to win these cases.
Right.
And there's just many ways of winning.
Am I unmuted yet?
You were but unmuted. You muted yourself, I guess, because I don't think we muted you.
No, I got thrown off the call and I had to call back in.
Oh, okay. I don't know how that happened.
All right, let me say something here to this. First off the bat, you're not operating, that police officer out there on that street, the license and stuff, is not operating under your state statutes. All right? He's operating under a manual, and that manual, okay, is strictly military.
All stop. One time I had
190-5.
Let him finish, and then we'll respond back, because I got a response on this, too.
All right.
Can I talk?
The Uniform Traffic Code, look it up. It is copyrighted. It is military. It is used in every state. I know what you're talking about in your state statutes, but that cop on the street in that court is operating under that Uniform Traffic Code. All right, they're operating under it, and it is strictly military. I believe I sent you a copy of it, Ed.
Okay, yeah, I'll get that one. But also, too, I do have, well, go ahead, Milt. You go ahead, sir. You first, I mean.
Okay. One time, a cop, ex-cop, got a ticket for no driver's license. He wanted me to, it was DUI. He says, can you help me? And so I told the ex-cop, yeah, I think we can do something here. I went down to Salem, the capital, and I talked to the state policeman. I says, I want a copy of your manual for becoming a state policeman. And I mentioned a couple other things. He would not give me this information. I went to the governor, the governor's office. The governor's office said, yeah, he's supposed to give that to you. That's just public law. And so then the Attorney General got involved because the state police called the Attorney General. But I got a big binder, and it shows everything they're supposed to do and not supposed to do. When I got that, I put it into the court case, and the case was dismissed because the state trooper wasn't obeying the law that he was supposed to obey. There was no crime. Just because a city police officer that was no longer a city police officer gets caught for DUI, he never injured anybody. There was no victim. And furthermore, there was no probable cause to stop him. I went through the manual and just pulled out all the sections and all the reasons why that state trooper wasn't supposed to stop this man. And the judge agreed. Here was their manual, and the state trooper was in violation of their own frickin' manual. Go ahead, Dad.
Well, anyhow, the other point I want to bring up, and I've got this, and we've put this up, and I'm looking for it again. Police departments cannot use lights and siren only in a life and death emergency, and that's federal law of the police code.
Yeah.
And
they can't
file on them.
One time I was following a city cop that was delivering a prisoner to another spot, and he was exceeding the speed limit without his siren on. I stopped 2 truck drivers and got their names and done quick affidavits. I went back and gave it to the district attorney, and the district attorney went after the cop, and the cop lost his job for speeding down the road without lights on. And we didn't have to go into court. Myself and 2 truck drivers, we nailed the cop.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a secret that they're not telling people. All right?
But if they told everyone the truth, they'd have a problem with their money game.
That's a fact.
You said you live in Texas, sir?
No, sir. I live in Oregon, but I've won cases across the country, Colorado and Wyoming and Idaho And I've helped other people win cases, quite a few. I took the head of the state police off the bench. I've taken city cops, they've lost their jobs. I've helped people in the state of Washington win different issues. And normally I use their own law against them. And a lot of times it's public law or the Constitution.
You want to see these people have a heart attack? You want to give them a coronary?
Why would I want? Who do I want to give a coronary to?
Anybody in this system. And I'm serious.
Okay.
Well, I've already done some of them things that puts a lot of pressure on them. It's real simple, but you go ahead.
All right. If you start looking up these military manuals,
I have two military manuals, and among other things.
Which ones you got?
I got a manual for courts martial, the U.S. Army. This one is 1928, and then the other one is, let's see, it's maritime. What is this one? This is military law. The Naval Institute Press, and it's probably got 1,200 pages in it. The laws, the history, and the court cases, and where it started from that all along were under the courts of the Navy. The yellow fringe flag.
I'll tell you what you do. Walk into your courthouse. All right. Take one look at the American flag.
I have them remove them. I've removed them in several cases. I make them remove that flag and put in the original flag of Oregon that has no yellow fringe on it. And the same way with their U.S. flag, because it's operating in a flag of war, because it's standing up, number one, and it ain't in the flag of peace. That's part of the reason I had a U.S. Marshal in the courtroom to arrest the most powerful judge in the state of Oregon. He was elected twice as an attorney general. They brought him in as the chief judge of Multnomah County. They brought him in on a case for a cowboy. Pro tem, I put in one little piece of paper, and pretty soon the U.S. Two esquires from London, England flew in. There were 13 federal attorneys in the courtroom that came in to represent the county and the state and the judge and the district attorney. And U.S. Marshal Madsen come in the courtroom with them esquires, one on each side of him. Judge Lee Johnson says, "I declare this a mistrial and all charges are dismissed." Before I could get the lawsuit done to sue him for $50 million, the next day they loaded him up and he disappeared. He no longer had any more court cases in Multnomah County, and to this day I have not been able to find where that guy went. They evidently changed his name and moved him out. They had loading trucks there, and they got rid of him. Could not find him to serve him. Same way when I took the U.S. or the state head of the state police off the bench. Done with one page.
Mm-hmm.
I just asked one question.
What was that?
I don't like to talk about it over the phone. It's a winner. It's real simple.
Yeah, you always got to keep an ace in your pocket.
Yeah, you have to.
No, I agree with that one. And see, and that's the one thing that, I've been trying to get people to comprehend, that when these guys put their lights and sirens on it, they can only use lights and sirens in a life and death emergency.
That's right.
And that's federal law, and that's by their own administrative law.
And if it's not an emergency and you're packing prisoners somewhere to exchange prisoners, you don't have your lights on and you're exceeding the speed limit, their own laws. That's how that cop lost his job.
Well, that's how I got a couple people off of their cases, because the cops started going after somebody else when they had a prisoner in the car and using their lights and siren on, and they can't go chasing somebody else when they have a prisoner in their car. And that's where, they do this stuff because, like we all agree on this one, it's all about the dollar bill, the paper money.
That's right.
And so
money and control. But anyway, the best book that I've got on military law is one by the Naval Institute Press, showing the power of the courts, how we come under the military law of the Navy. Naval Institute Press, Annapolis, Maryland. Commander Edward M. Byrne, JAGC, United States Navy. Military law.
We've been under them since 1775.
Yeah, but it hasn't always been exclusive. It's been, emergency most of the time, and something when they declare the emergency and hold it. But I have court cases, where that military law found him guilty, and then they turn around and lost the cases because people said, I thought this was a Republican form of government, and the Congress and agreed, and the Supreme Court agreed, and so they won their cases. Military doesn't win every court case. Otherwise, we have no Constitution.
It's true. And the Constitution does work. I know I've used that many times.
I could show you documents. I could let you talk to people, because that's what I've done. I've told you about a few of the cases, Ed.
And I've used it because apparently my family's bloodline goes right to the war with George Washington and that whole thing. And that's where it's been proven I'm native. And so it's like I let people go on that one because there is on the Immigration Act, and I have that one too, that actually clarifies lawful versus legal immigration. Yep.
Well, anyway, I'll let you guys continue on. I'm not trying to take over. That copyright thing, I know how they do it. I've seen it many times, and I've helped people that have been caught up in simulating a legal process, exact charge. And the one case I had to do twice. I won it the first time, and the judge says, this case is dismissed. Would you like to continue? And the ex-cop said, yes. and they brought out all new charges. I had to win it twice. I mean, that was pretty tricky for the judge to say, this case is dismissed. Would you like to continue? And when the cop said yes,
he forgot to let. He should have said with prejudice.
The district attorney come up with all new charges. Oh goodness.
Yeah, they do play the game.
I've had enough fun for tonight. I got to go to bed.
Oh, wait where you're at. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us again tonight, and you have a blessed evening, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, buddy.
All right, have a good one, my friend.
Good night.
So anyhow, that's 7:30. We've been going at this for 2.5 hours, so if anybody doesn't have anything else to say, Well, we'll open the floor up, and if anybody has something to say, might as well get it in, and then that way, if not, then I'll close. So I'll shut my mouth for a moment and let anybody else speak if they would like to have the floor. Okay, well, I guess nobody wants to have the floor, so I'm going to call it an evening tonight. We appreciate everybody joining us, and for those who listen to this, because the whole thing is about learning how it works, comprehending how it works. We're all putting the pieces together of the puzzle here, and the main thing is to know this stuff before you walk into these, corporation courts.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say one other thing. I'm about to lose my train of thought here. The copyright, and I'll say on the Uniform Commercial Code, Congress passed it, and it wasn't copyrighted by some of the attorneys till for 20 or 25 years later. If you use the original public laws, they are not copyrighted.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know that they can copyright them. I think if they were copyrighted, it'd be a violation of law. I'm pretty sure it would be, because they're public laws. That's what it says. Public law of the 88th Congress. You know, how could that be more clear? So, and the way they do it, I've mentioned it. They edit the UCC, and they write it and put it in a book, because they put it in some book, a whole bunch of laws in the book, and they've been a word changed here, added or deleted. Then they call it their law because they copyrighted it. But I've went through them before, and I say, oh, look at here what they did. In this paragraph here, they deleted this word, added that word. It looks like the same thing, but it's a counterfeit.
Yeah, go ahead. Somebody else was trying to say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Ed. Cheyenne.
Oh, hey, Cheyenne.
They also do that with their own codes and statutes. They change it at whim.
Yep. You're right.
Well,
you always have to have the original, and I sometimes try to get them certified, but I don't know if, are you from Oregon?
No, I'm not.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Oregon has what's called the Oregon Blue Book, and it's got the history, and it's supposed to be a fact book, and it's supposed to have and it does have a Constitution in it. Well, I went down to have that certified, and I got a letter from the Secretary of State, the Archives, and they says, we can't certify this because it's just a publication. So the Constitution they put in the Oregon Blue Book, which that means it's a corporation book, because every year or two they have to come out with the profits and losses. So that's what the Oregon Blue Book is, and it's got the corporate charter, i.e. corporate constitution in it. Well, I wanted to get it certified so I could play a game with them in court, but they wouldn't certify it. And you could probably do it in the state you're in just as easy.
I'm sure you could.
Yeah.
Well, and the one thing I was going to bring up when we were getting into a little bit of mortgages, I'm going to be doing that tomorrow night. But see, I didn't buy my land from a mortgage company or anything. I bought it directly from the owner herself. But in a mortgage, you have mortgage insurance in the contract. That's why I always tell people to make sure you get the original or a copy of it, because it has mortgage insurance in the contract, and if you don't claim on it within 3 years, the bank does.
Correct.
And so you know what I'm saying. So, and you can file on that one too, and they don't want you to know this stuff. Because
you can also get your equity once you get your sale. You can go to the court and get the equity, but 9 out of 10, the court does not want to give you the equity. Say the home was worth $150 in the bank, and this is another gimmick that they end up pulling. is the bank bought the house back. Well, if they owned it, why would they have to buy the house back?
Well, not only that, I've got federal laws that says the bank can't even, by even federal law, you see, what is it, Title 7 says the bank cannot even own property.
Correct.
So when they do this, they put themselves in liability of scam.
Well, then if you go back into the property tax, and that's what I tried to tell you to look into it, because I'm looking into it right now, which makes sense. They end up buying the house, but through the property tax, we end up putting, or the deed, we end up putting the land. So instead of calling the land, call it soil. Because there's where you just got done saying the banks can't own land, but they absolutely cannot, and the property tax building cannot own soil. So it's a good thing to look into.
Yeah, send me that resource that you were going on, if you would, because I will definitely be highlighting that. And if you could do that tonight, I could get some of that done for tomorrow night. Because tomorrow night
it won't be tonight. It will be tomorrow morning, hopefully.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to be doing an adjournment for the property sales, for the property sheriff sale. I'm going to be adjournment injunction. And that should stop everything. I'm going to be putting a sheriff again on. So let's see what happens. But yeah. I'm changing my claim instead of land. I'm going to change it to soil because right there that fits more than land.
Yeah, and you got that information I sent you on the sheriff and the police departments cannot actually be involved in it.
I believe I got it. Also, the Fourth Amendment. Warrant, they cannot proceed to kick you out. A friend of mine called me tonight, and not to take the floor up, but this is very important for anyone that's going through eviction. Here, this gentleman's in his 70s. They end up arresting him that he had it was over a 10-year warrant out for him over some bogus ticket, minor ticket, speeding ticket. Here they end up coming to his house, probably like 25 cops, squad team, got him, locked him up Wednesday. That was when his sheriff's cell was, and they left him out Friday. So they sold the house that day, and now they're going to come back to evict him. Now another gentleman, I'm not sure if it's still in the same state, he's in his 80s, and he's going to be evicted Friday, this coming Friday. So, I mean, if anyone...
What happened to you, Joe? What happened? Is he still here?
She faded out.
Here she dropped off.
Oh. Well, that's sad.
Well,
yeah.
With her information, if you're going to be doing mortgages tomorrow, she would be really good to have on for tomorrow.
Well, yeah, she is going to be on tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Well, her phone might have went dead or something. I don't know.
Yeah, something happened. But, yeah, I'm going to be sending this to so we get this stuff up on the Facebook on the police stuff so people could comprehend that you could sit there and comprehend the most important value structure of cops cannot use their lights only in life and death emergency. So when they're committing piracy, it's a crime. And getting the information out so people could comprehend, but it is interesting because so many people want to argue instead of listening to what's going on. Even when you give them the actual evidence and put it right in front of their nose and they can see it with their eyes, they still have an argument with it. And that's what just sort of frustrates me with that when people do that. It really is frustrating. Go ahead.
That's why I try to tell people to, right in the beginning, you want to get the UCC. I don't start with the Uniform Commercial Code somewhere else. I'm telling them right where to get it when it was approved by Congress and there's a shitload of stuff that was approved in 1963. And when it was approved, it was not copyrighted in 1963.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very clear. Public Law 88-243, Laws of the 88th Congress, first session, December the 30th. It is not copyrighted.
Yep. And Scrub actually has the hard copy of the paper or the book on their Scribe.
Who does what?
Scribe, SCRIBD. It's a lawyer's website. They got some good stuff on it and some I don't trust, but they do have the actual House Resolution 192 that was stamped, sealed, certified by Congress, certified copy of Public House Joint Resolution 192, Public Law 10. They actually have it certified in the Law Library of Congress.
Yeah, and that's what you'd want to do.
Yeah, no,
if you're going to use it, you know, get it certified so that it can't be challenged.
Right. Right. That's a fact. And so what I got to do is I got to get a hold of the Library of Commerce and get one sent to me certified through them, because they actually have it on the internet, but they want to charge you $8.99 to print it.
Oh. Well, anyway, I'm going to sign off. We've been on the phone for about, quite a while. 3 years,
almost 3 hours.
I'm back.
Oh, there you are. Well, you are going to join us tomorrow night, ain't you?
Me?
Well, you too, but I was talking to Joe to see if she was going to join us tomorrow.
Yes, I am.
Because, on some of this stuff, I do plan on giving the floor over to you for a little bit and let you go run.
Oh, I don't know if I'll do that, but I'll do my best to give you info. Again, my phone ends up hanging up on the 2 hour mark, so I do apologize. And then I didn't have the phone number, the PIN. I didn't have the PIN number down, so I had to sign up on Skype. And then that took forever because I'm scanning right now. But anyhow, the other gentleman who was in his 80s, he's going to be evicted by Friday. And I do believe he's in Ohio, but I could be incorrect. So, I mean, this stuff has to stop, really.
Mm-hmm.
And it only takes 3 people to go after these lawyers, 3 people to go after the so-called judge, go after him as a man, not a judge. So why don't we shut this system down? I don't get it.
Not enough people really want to. A lot of people are just trying to survive. And as soon as they make a little money, they want to enjoy life. It's new cars. Young men want wine, women, and song, and they don't want to be involved with politics.
Well, I do. I want to go back to common law in Washington.
No, we already have it. I guarantee you, we have it. Well, no, you got to know how to use it. And I don't like to be on the phone here just telling everybody how simple it is, but
it is very simple. Once you know what's going on, it is very simple. But you have to be in control because they are constantly they're taking jurisdiction away from you. I already did 2 claims, and I see where I messed up. I also did 2 other cases that I was an ex-friend. Again, I don't have court experience, but it did give me where I see where I made a mistake and what I did right and what I did wrong. So hopefully the next one I have a claim in, and hopefully I won't let them do what they think they're going to do.
Well, you got to figure out how to shut them down.
Exactly.
And,
exactly. And I go in this common law, and I pack my case, my suitcase. I pack it. Here's what's going to happen. Here's what I will talk to. A lawyer I will not speak to. You don't have first-hand knowledge. I want the man or the woman. I don't want a lawyer. I want the man or the woman.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't have that, then someone's going to be held liable. And I'm not cheap.
Good for you.
And there is money. Money can be made out there if you know what you're doing.
I agree.
So, yeah, maybe we don't need to shut them down. Maybe we just, hey, they hit us in our wallet. Let's hit them.
Mm-hmm. That is a fact.
Too many people are suffering. Too many people are homeless. Kids are committing suicide. It's no. And then they want to arrest you if you feed a homeless? Really?
Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs, and then they want to bring in all these people from foreign countries like the ISIS people and give them over $4,000 a month Social Security benefits, or Social Security and the benefits, and they've never paid into Social Security. Why should
they've been doing this for years. They've been doing this for years with mortgages. They've been bringing in people from different countries and giving them a home. And these people would...
I say America for Americans first. We need to take care of our own people first before we take care of the world.
I'm just saying they have been doing that for years. It's not just with security. It's also with mortgage. They've been doing it for years.
Right.
People just are not aware of it.
Well, I knew that back in the 70s in California because they were bringing the Chinese in and giving them a house, new cars, and $50,000 to start a business.
Yep, there you go. Correct, Ed. Yep.
Motels. I remember when they used to help them with a lot of Chinese would get a motel, Vietnamese and Chinese. One of them was right there in Salem. And I actually used to stay there once in a while. But that was a government giveaway. And they worked pretty hard, you know. They worked hard, and then the Salem ended up buying the motel from them, and so they made much more money.
Correct.
So, anyhow, folks, it's almost 8. We've been here for 3 hours, and I think we should probably call it a night. And so, with that one said, we'll continue on tomorrow night. And I'd like to thank everybody for joining us, everybody's comments and thoughts, and respect to everybody, because life is a learning experience, and the point of all this is so that way you learn correctly. So you don't have to keep reliving this stuff, because, you know, I always say, why do we relive what it says in some books? Because we could always alter the future so we don't live in the recurrence of the past. So with that, may the Great Spirit bless you. May Mother Earth give you life and food, and may the Creator look over you.
Sounds good. Good night. Good night.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, everybody else. Now, I do want to remind anyone listening to this or watching this, and it will be, it has been, will be, on the YouTube video, but all guests who come onto the show, anybody who speaks, calls in and chooses to speak or decides to speak, we from this show do not take any liability from their actions, their opinions, their beliefs, or their words. Each caller takes full liability and responsibility of their own actions, words, etc. We are not lawyers, we are not attorneys, and we are just living men and women that try to help you learn, and you need to go and research this yourself. We are not the end-all word on all this. We're all still basically children learning how to deal with the bullies that we call the United States Incorporated Corporation. So with that, thank you for listening, and we will see you tomorrow night. Evidently, we're talking about mortgages